You ready for this one? It's either going to make you very excited, you may have an epiphany, or get you really riled. I hope that you have the epiphany, or that you go to this next level of an amazing reality. Something huge is happening right now. I'm picking up on it. It is now September 2020, and I did predict that we're going to have a major shift this fall. I feel like we're going into something. I'm picking up on it. It's really super powerful. It's very positive. Some things are going to happen out there, and if you get this in check, it's not going to be an issue for you at all. In fact, you could shift into amazing opportunities that were not available before because of how you see this, how you react to it. But here's what I'm going to share with you. I want to give you the ego test. Are you ascending? Are you awakening? Are you going into the new earth? You want to know? Stick around. I'm going to ask you some critical questions. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears, live an amazing life. Have you taken Breakthrough Fear, my course that has changed hundreds of lives? Why do I do that? Because it's time. I'm here to share with you that it's time. I know you're ready. You're on my channel. You're ready to do this. Do you want to know if you still have your ego running the show? Do you want to know if you're ascending? Do you want to know if you're going to a higher frequency? Okay, this could upset some of you. What are you thinking about all day? Now I want to just take this to another level beyond 3 seconds to manifest anything. In my video, people love that video because it's about me focusing on something positive. Me switching to positive. Then I have shift into a new reality, and that is I pick the reality first, and then I think about it all day. I pick the reality first, I think about it all day. That's how we go to a higher level. So instead of just blah, 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 oh, I'm going to shift into something new, we actually wipe all that out and we say, okay, what am I going to manifest today? And then we choose that reality and then we focus on it all day, all day, all day. Quantum physics, it has to come in. Wave into particle, it must come in. People say it's not coming in. Well, you must have a block or a belief somewhere, and that's where we reside most of the time. And I'm going to ask you some questions right now. Do you have anxiety? Do you have worry about the future? Do you get angry at other people, including, what's happening out here with those in power, or the health care, or, whatever, who's doing what? Are you concerned about, do you watch the news? Do you get into this space where you're thinking and it's not in a positive way? 100% ego. Ego is concerned about me, my feelings, what I'm going to get. I don't feel good. I've had a bad life and whatever. 100% low frequency density. 100%. This is awakening. Awakening is when you let go of the ego. It dies. It's done. You're not concerned about my feelings, whatever, because you realize it's not me. Me is this, and I have access to everything. Every thought, every belief, every action. I'm not even this body. If you are feeling bad, you are self-centered, egotistical frequency. And I don't mean that in a negative, nasty way. I mean as a frequency. You're thinking about you. You? What's you? You're unlimited. You can create miracles. You can heal yourself. You can heal other people if they choose to allow that. Anything that you're feeling that's of a negative nature is your ego concerned about you. My feelings, what I want. It's always what you want. Why do you feel bad? Because you have a story in your head. That's not you. That's your ego. I know this is going to tick off some people. Say, you can't say that, and I've been through so much. There we go. You're so deep in it, you don't even realize. If you let that go, you go to high frequency, there's no story anymore. And the experience, you observe it. It has no power over you. It isn't who you are. It doesn't define who you are now. It doesn't block you or keep you in a box or keep you in any negative space. Only you can do that. And that's the ego doing that. Only the ego has a story about your past, what's happening, or the future, or other people. 100% the ego. Okay, so I can't wait to see the comments, because the egos will, right? We are the egos, right? We all have them. Humans, all humans do. All of them. When you release it 100%, you observe it. It's an energy field. You're not reacting to it anymore. So as a human, you get to experience that, but as an awakened human, it's no longer part of your decision-making process. It's an energy field you look at, just like a tree or whatever. You'll have an emotion about a tree or an emotion about an animal, emotion. But how you interact with it is a choice. If you're having any negative feelings at all, you're only concerned about yourself. No, I'm not. I'm having bad feelings because this person is not feeling. That's you. That's you having a story, a negative story about that. Okay, this is where it's going to get tricky, okay? So hear me out on this one. It's not that the things happening that are painful or wrong, right? Nothing's actually wrong. Like, I'm not saying any of that's right or you should say it's okay. What I'm telling you is that when you personally go into distress and you're reacting with that way, that's the ego. I don't want that to happen. I don't like that happening. When you go into a higher frequency, the experience of being human is observed, and then you start to go into the higher frequency of how you can assist in a higher level of peace and love. All right, so I know. But you don't know what I've been through. That's 100% your ego. When you're now concerned about other people, like I said, this is when it gets a little tricky. Because you're saying, wait a minute, I'm 100% concerned about this or that. But your negative feelings or distress or anxiety or other things are actually contributing to it in a negative way. You're actually entangled with that situation, and now your thoughts and feelings of distress or anger or anxiety or sadness or whatever are actually taking that energy field into a lower frequency. You're contributing to it. We all are. We're one. There's no separation. So when I go into a negative space about the planet, about who's doing what and that, and my thoughts and feelings and beliefs on it are a lower frequency, distress, that's me and the ego saying, I don't want that, that's wrong, and we go into that, we are contributing on the lowest frequency. So when you see something happening out there and you feel this is not right, how can I contribute to that? Now, first of all, so many people just sitting, doing nothing. This is wrong. What are you doing about it? What are you doing? Because when you go to a higher frequency, you're not now me and I'm going to talk about, I'm informing people of what? Half of it's fake anyways. People are telling me that there's cures for stuff. I'm like, prove it. Oh, it's in some document. Show me the document. You can't, because it's all made up. It is. Focus on what you can do, because if you're just blasting this stuff out there, you're the problem. You're the problem for yourself, not me, because I'm not going to be watching and listening to that garbage. So my question to you is, if there is injustice, if there is something, what are you doing on a peaceful, positive level to say, how do we resolve these conflicts? Not battle it, you're wrong and we're gonna, no. How do we say, how did we get into that space? Are you in distress about the future That is you thinking about you, 100%. Even if it's about other people, it's about what I want other people to do, what I want the world to be like, what I want to feel like. Hey, listen, the Dalai Lama gets angry and sad. He does. It's not that he doesn't experience what is, injustice out there. He's experienced some major stuff with his country, horrible things. He says he experiences that, but he doesn't go into that negative energy field. He releases it as the ego that says, this is wrong, this is horrible, I'm angry with them. Hate. He doesn't get involved in it. He just sees what's going on. He experiences that. And he doesn't go into the ego, the density that goes into that space of the anger or whatever. He experiences it and it floats by. And he goes into a space of healing and action in a positive way. And it has profound effect on people. You've seen this, right? So I want you to ask yourself, if you are engaged with your ego, you have a story about how things should be, and that's your ego. You have to die before you die, right? You have to die before you live, really, is what it is. We're talking about the ego. It has to go. That's awakening. So are you thinking about me, what I want, how things should be? Who we should vote for? Why are you right? Why are you any right? There's somebody else who thinks they're equally as right. There we go. Conflict, debate, it's garbage. Get rid of it. None of that's going to matter. None of it's going to matter. It's about you and where you're going with this. This is the ego test, the awakening. The major number one sign is judging going into this space. It is time to pull out of it and stop thinking about me and I'm not well and I'm not this. And I'm like, well, you know why? Because you're in this worried about you, and what you think that should be doing out there. All conflict, all struggle. You can end the struggle right now. You can end the struggle. And when you experience something that is very unpleasant, because we're human beings, this is part of the game. There you go. Yay. Got a test now. My spouse, he's a problem because he's not spiritual. Really? He's not spiritual? So we don't hear ourselves talking. We don't hear that ego that's saying, hey, I'm requiring somebody to act a certain way for me to be okay, for me to be spiritual awakened. Awakened person requires nothing from somebody else. Nothing. There are no requirements. You just are. I am. That's it. Are you ready to go into that space and start to observe all those thoughts coming through and realize how many of them are about your ego having a little chat with you? Your ego wants you to turn the news on. Forget what they even say. Your ego requires to watch the news. I'm not talking about, informing yourself about basic stuff. I'm talking about the debates, the opinions, and all. It's all made up. It's all manipulation. Everything, all of that is. All of it. It has to be. You know why? Because unless you come from a 100% pure place, Christ-like place, there's always going to be some ego in there talking that taints it a certain way about how our world should work. Step away. You create your world. Are you ready to test yourself all day long? Take one day and ask yourself how many times that you believe a certain thing, or you're unhappy because you don't have something, or you're worried about the future, 100% focused on you. The dense ego. That's it. Let it go. Let it go. When you let it go, abundance will flow, new opportunities, chances for you to become amazing, chances for you to step in and help other people in a way that truly is effective on a high frequency to allow them to be their best. Focus on 100%, not me, you. I'm going to focus on what I'm doing out here. out here, out here, out here. Not forcing or telling how other people, just giving with no expectations. Don't give the poor man money. He'll just buy drugs with it. So what? So? Judgment. Let him. Or maybe you're the one that gave money freely and he picked up on that energy and realized, I'm going to go buy a decent meal this time or go to a shelter instead. Allow it. Because when you do that, what you give, you receive. Are you still functioning on the ego? Release it and you will go into awakening, a state of peace. You still get to be a human being. You still get to have a glass of wine or joke and go and do silly things. It's going to take on a completely different meaning. Your life will shift. You'll go into the new earth. And this fall, this shift that I'm feeling going on right now, this is September of 2020. I'm feeling a shift. Something big is happening right now. You're going to experience it completely differently. It's not going to be negative for you. You're going to realize we're going into something great, amazing and beautiful. And everything else, I can observe it and experience it without interacting negatively as an ego that has to have an opinion on everything. You are whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Come on over, take the New Earth workshop. I'll help you work through these things. I have all kinds of practices for you, or not, right? It's up to you. Please share. Please subscribe. And we're in it together. We're in it together. You're unconditionally loved, my friend, no matter what. Namaste.